Hi, my name is Daniel Johnson, and on behalf of my co-authors, I'd like to present to you our paper, Shoulder to Shoulder, How Pinball Supports Men's Wellbeing. 1 in 2 people will experience a mental health issue during their lifetime. Perhaps more relevantly for us in this paper, men compared to women have significantly lower rates of help seeking for mental health issues, are not as comfortable with structured mental health interventions, and experience a strong sense of stigma around mental health support. And these barriers to care have severe consequences. Men are more than 3 times more likely to die by suicide than women in many countries. In response to these issues, a number of targeted mental health initiatives have emerged, but the majority of these revolve around things like sport or men's sheds. For the uninitiated, pinball is a hybrid digital and physical game that involves a ball inside a machine propelled through 2 or more player-controlled flippers, which can be aimed to hit different ramps, bumpers, toys and targets. Players can play alone or turn take, continuing to play and score points until the ball drains through the middle of the flippers or one of the out lanes. Although played by all genders, pinball is a male-dominated activity, with barcades, leagues and tournaments generally attracting competitors who identify as men. Given these characteristics of pinball, we see an opportunity for pinball context to provide incidental benefits to men's mental health through a shared playful leisure activity. Further, we seek to provide evidence as to whether or not explicit mental health interventions, similar to those seen in football or video games, could be designed within a pinball context. Overall, we question how pinball, a social, tangible and digital leisure activity, can support men's mental health and well-being. We crafted a set of research questions based on our overall aim. To answer these questions, we conducted in-depth semi-structured interviews with 15 pinball enthusiasts who identify as men. 2 members of the research team conducted the interviews, drawing on the predetermined set of questions we'd created. The majority of interviews were conducted by a researcher with no experience with pinball and who was unfamiliar with the participants. Interviews were transcribed and analysed using thematic analysis. We chose to take an inductive approach, meaning our process for identifying themes was not shaped by any existing theory, rather it was data-driven. Collectively, our findings paint a picture of an activity that has a range of mental health benefits, as well as highlighting a small number of caveats. Pinball is an activity that was discovered early by all of our participants that many then drifted away from, only to return later in life. The ability to access privately owned machines, tournaments, and less formal social meetups all play a part in their rediscovery of pinball. Following this rediscovery, many participants found pinball develop into something that permeated their lives more broadly. Our participants spoke of a range of broad benefits to mental health and well-being, but importantly, specifically spoke of the value of pinball and the associated community when dealing with difficult life events. In terms of community and relatedness, a range of themes emerged. Our participants spoke of friendships that were limited to pinball and pinball-related activities, but also of friendships that extended beyond pinball. The ability to disclose to others in the community emerged as an important aspect of connectedness. The pinball community was described as uniquely welcoming, and participants also spoke of their own interests in building the community. While overall the picture that emerged was extremely positive, our participants also noted that the hobby was for some people quite expensive and involved a large time investment. Additionally, a lack of diversity in the community was noted as a key shortcoming that was slowly being redressed. Here I'll take the opportunity to provide a little more detail on one theme. With relation to mental health, one of our participants noted, "It was almost a crutch or a tool to use to get around the fact that I was extremely unhappy. I actually think it was an incredibly positive thing, because what are the alternatives? I go drink, I go smoke, I go binge eat or do destructive things. Whereas going and spending $5, $10 and playing pinball for 25 minutes is a much better use of my time and gets the head in a much better place than going out, having a smoke and then developing a pack-a-week habit or something like that because of that." In relation to our theme on relating to others and specifically extended friendships, one of our participants noted, "But this one guy had a pretty nasty breakup with his wife. So after one competition, we just stuck together for a little while and had a couple of drinks and had a chat about that." Another noted, "I know that I could probably call any of these guys up anytime and say, 'Mate, can we have a chat? Because I'm struggling.'" In terms of ability to disclose, one of our participants noted, "We'll just be casually chatting while we're playing stuff and just don't really care if we drain a ball or we're not paying attention. We just talk and eventually just end up talking completely because we're too distracted by whatever conversation we're having." Another said, now through talking about your love of pinball, you then branch out into other topics. And if those topics are compatible, well then you can see that you've got a friendship there. If they're not, well, then you just keep talking about pinball. There are several key theories that help situate our findings, and I'd invite you to read the paper which explores these in more detail. Today I'll just note that within the field of men's mental health, it's generally accepted that shoulder-to-shoulder activities are the most effective. This refers to the notion that men are likely to experience greater well-being benefits from undertaking instrumental tasks with one another. This is in contrast to more direct face-to-face approaches. Our results confirm that pinball is working in this way by providing a common focus from which men can feel comfortable easing into more challenging or personal topics. Turning to the implications of our findings, in terms of men's mental health, it seems clear that pinball provides a range of incidental as well as explicit mental health and wellbeing benefits. This highlights the value of pinball for men that may not have existing connections with other communities, for example, sports. In terms of design implications, we see potential opportunities for pinball designers to further leverage the benefits and positive experiences that pinball provides. As is often the case, the industry is already exploring the possibilities, specifically with regard to connecting players online, which we discuss in more detail in the paper. Our findings also highlight the potential for pinball as a space for mental health and wellbeing interventions. Pinball offers unique opportunities in this space in terms of being a domain that men already inhabit and involving a shoulder-to-shoulder instrumental activity that requires turn-taking, which organically creates regular gaps for conversation. The limitations of our work primarily relate to our sample. While our decision to focus on male pinball players was deliberate, the exclusion of participants of other genders limits the interpretation of our findings. Future research exploring the experience of players who identify as other genders will provide additional context. For example, how other genders experience the male-dominated space, and how the desire to further diversify the community might best be realised. In the same vein, while our participants made remarks regarding cultural and ethnic diversity, we did not collect any data regarding the ethnic or cultural backgrounds of our participants. Future research could usefully consider this context, as well as deliberately seeking input from a broader range of participants. We hope that the ideas we present, grounded in the words of the participants themselves, may prompt researchers and designers to think differently about how the physical environment and structured play format of pinball can be designed to best support the already present shoulder-to-shoulder activity-based communication among players. As captured by one of our participants, some people have a footy team or a cricket team that's their guy support network, and I think for us, it's the pinball.